We'll open our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I have a late agenda item, if the board pleases. It's reference the work we had done on the catch basins in our parking lot through a company called Rock and Ron. So we'll put that down maybe as number 8 on the bottom of our new business. We encountered some extra work that needed to be done, so we're gonna have to address that. Our consent agenda, which consists of regular meeting minutes dated October 13th of 25, our monthly bills in the amount of $311,827.91, and our treasurer's report.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the regular meeting minutes of October 13th, 2025, the township payroll and the monthly bills in the amount of $311,827.91, and acknowledge the treasurer's report.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda with support. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Our report section, Chief Smith, Fire Department.
Well, hopefully everyone got a copy of my report. You can see MFR runs continue to run over in the 35 to 40 range. Fire calls, we got a little bit of a break this month, or one off from our normal pace. If you look at last year's and the years before, we were averaging 10. Now, and then that last year was 12. Now we're averaging 15. But you can see as our community grows, our emergency services are getting busier and busier and busier. So that's about all I've got. If there's any questions or anything I can answer, I'd be happy to try.
Of course I do, Don.
That's fine.
Incident types, you have a public service incident. What does that entail?
What's it?
A public service incident?
That's where we go, someone, like say you call and say, I've got an issue with something in my barn. I can't move it, or it's blocking my wife's vehicle. It slipped off. We'll go and as a public service, we'll help you.
Oh, so that could be just about anything.
Yeah, that particular one, I was gonna note that. I knew you'd ask about that, or somebody would.
Well, I know who to call tomorrow.
What's that?
I know who to call tomorrow.
You know who I'm talking about?
No, I says, I know who to call tomorrow.
Yeah,
I need help.
call anytime. We come to your places before. So.
Don, this extrication from machinery, that's an industrial accident?
Yeah, that's Ventec out on Van Dyke. A gentleman got his hand caught in a machine roll.
Oh,
Yep.
how'd you make out with that?
Like you expect.
Yeah. Okay.
It really wasn't as bad probably as it could have been, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm sure his fingers were broken enough that there was no open skin or anything.
All right. So
Just a little note on Ventec. This is now about the third time this year or in the last 18 months we've been there. They have never put in the emergency access road. In order to reach that back building, we have to go the entire distance of the shop inside. If there's a fire in those back 2 buildings, I'm not putting my people through that thing like that. It would take 500 feet of hose.
this is where this occurred?
Yes, yep, farthest point in the building.
Okay. I'd like to talk to you more about that later at some point. Okay. Our new fire truck, is that all equipped now and ready to run?
Yeah, it's ready to go. January 1, it goes into service.
Okay.
It was gonna be December 1, but we've got some issues with radio parts to
Okay.
mount it in the truck. We're learning little things. We probably should have had that particular truck all prepped for the radios, so all we did was plug them in. The newer trucks and that, the dashboards, the headliners, they're not like the old trucks at all.
Yeah.
But we're real close. Everything's transferred over, everything's drilled. So it's just a matter of finishing the radios.
And the old one is on the market now or
The
no?
old one is gonna be on the market. Yeah, it's on the market. So that's something probably as a sidebar with a couple of you I should talk about. How do you want to sell that?
Right.
Through the years, we've always had a public bid and then a public bid opening. There are all kinds of ways I can do that now with all these online sale things. If it meets with the township's approval, maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah, so I'd like to poll you folks and see what you think.
Talk to you about
We've
that.
had an offer on a truck that seems reasonable, but I can't, it's public property. I can't just say, oh yeah, that sounds great. You
Yeah.
get money. You know?
Yeah.
So we need
We'll
to
get together, I don't know, you're going up deer hunting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so after deer season?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why the truck in service got
Yeah.
pushed back a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
14
Okay, we'll
days.
get together and talk about that.
So you had your orientation on the new truck for all the guys?
Yes, we have, yep. Yeah. We have a couple of real small issues, one seat that's not acting right, and a couple of weather stripping issues, but all in all, pretty good. We've been running the truck.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Do they send somebody over for that work? You don't have to take the
They
truck back?
do,
right?
yes, yeah.
Anything else for fire chief?
Yeah, I got one other one, Don. The incidents dispatched and canceled en route. Looks like you were going to Lapeer and Addison Township. How many rigs does that involve from us?
Depends on what they call for. If they call for a full assist for a structure fire, it would be the ladder truck, 5 people and a tanker.
Wow.
Or they may call only for a tanker tender assist, and that would be a tender and 4 people.
Okay, so you would know before you ever left the barn over there, what you're dealing with?
Oh, yeah, yeah, it'll come in as a structure fire or a manpower assist.
And these were canceled en route, so.
Yeah, we get about to Dryden Road, and then all of a sudden, somebody from that operation has gotten there, looked around, and it's not quite the emergency they thought it was, so they cancel us, so we can return to station.
Better safe than sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any kind of a manpower assist, I send people in a fire truck. A lot of the townships, a little bit north of here, they send them in private vehicles with their fire gear and their air packs and that. To me, that's risky because I've been owning a business for years. If you work for me and I send you on company vehicle in your company business in your private vehicle, you have no insurance. They won't cover it. So I always send them in a vehicle,
That's just,
township vehicle.
you never know what you might need on the site.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don. Okay, our police department report, you should all have a copy of that. Talking to the chief this morning, he will be at next month's meeting. Okay, if we have any questions for him at that time, he will be here. So if there are any questions, comments, concerns tonight, reference to the report? If not, we'll move on to our assessor's report. You all have a copy of Andrew's report. And our OEO reports. And basically, I take, again, all the complaints that have come in over the month. There's some responses on some of them, no responses on others yet that haven't been addressed. But that is the OEO activity for the last 30 days.
Is there like a log or something for this?
The log,
Yeah. That as these come in, you know.
He might
it
keep
was
a
called
log
in
in
on.
his-
It was called in on this day. You know, we went out on this date, this date, this date, and this date.
I
Or is
can
it
check
just-
with Joe, I don't know, or Laura, I don't know if they actually keep a log in their office. If they do, we'll get a copy of it. Laura?
Because, you know,
Question,
we get the new ones that come in, but we never get resolution on some of the old ones,
Well,
right? We don't get to see them through, you know, completion.
Well, if you look through the packet, Rick, there's some that are the original complaint,
Mhm.
and then there's an additional copy that is his follow-up, okay, and what he's done. But there are some in there that, yes, they don't have a resolution yet, so.
I think there's some that are out there that are not in here, is what
Oh,
that's what I
okay.
meant, is like.
I'll look into that for you, okay. Anything else? Okay, park board, I don't know, we have a park board,
I think Dennis attended.
okay.
Compete with Roberta here. She's probably more on top of these things than I am. But the cameras were installed and working really good. Roberta's been working on trying to get some of the vandalism reported out with the police department. They do need to post some signs. I guess we were advised that that's required by law. That's in the mill. That's in the works. The parking lot, the millings were spread on a parking lot. The beautification committee is working with the American Tree, but they've got some really good ideas from American Tree. Probably too late this year, but they're working on it. They're working on the bylaws and the rental agreement, and then they're talking about potential YouTube broadcast. That's it on the park board.
AB Broadcasting.
Meetings.
Oh, yeah,
Park board
okay,
meetings.
got you.
They haven't been doing that.
Any other questions reference park board?
Yeah, Denny, do they have do they keep a budget, kind of a running budget of what they've done so far? And they had a hit list of things they wanted to get accomplished. I just wondered how far down the list we're getting.
They work, Roberta could probably address that. She's the treasurer, so, yeah, they do.
Can we maybe get a copy of that just to kind of see how we're tracking with what they wanted to get done?
Yep. No problem.
Okay, public comment, anything from the public tonight? Go ahead, Rich.
Oh, can you come up to
Could
the
you come up to
microphone?
the mic? That's a request of several of our board members, so.
Yeah, over at Shoemaker and General Squire, it looks like they dug down and put in a new culvert over there. And they left like a 3-foot strip of no asphalt there. And the dirt is sinking down, and probably should get a hold of the county and get that fixed.
Big bump coming up this General Square Road.
I talked to Jason about that. When they did the cross culverts over here in Kidder Road, they were supposed to do that.
Right.
That went to engineering over there in Lapeer, and they were gonna put a bigger culvert in. And the other day I talked to Jason, and he says they're not gonna do it now, so he's just gonna cover it. It's gonna be blacktop.
It's gonna patch or blacktop.
Because right now it's just, like a 3-foot.
Right, it's just
Strip
they put a
of-
cross culvert in, just like they did on Kidder Road. There's a strip that wide that they took out, they put limestone in it, they let it compact, and they come back and they blacktopped it. They did not do that one because it was supposed to have a bigger culvert.
Well, right now you come to that point and,
Correct.
it's
Jason,
terrible.
I know he knows about it, so it's in the works. And there's also 2 spots out on Glover Road that they're supposed to address them also. So.
Anything else? Yes.
Kim Shaw from Almont Township. First, I want to thank Gary and Randy for coming out, and Jason from MDOT to my property to look at the ditch. It will be resolved, which is nice, thank you. And then also, I just wanted to mention, I had talked before about the cemetery on Scotch Settlement. And I always associate fences with a cemetery for some reason. It looks nice. However, as you all know, I was the director for downtown, and when I did the streetscape project, we did hydrangea trees. Those are what those are that are along Main Street. They're slow growing, they're nice, they have flowers on them. I think, I'm just throwing this out there, I think they would be a nice little accent to put along the road there as opposed to a fence or a fence and those. But they do have flowers on them, like in the summer, and they go through almost to fall, and they don't grow real fast. So
Okay.
that's just kind of my thoughts. I know you guys were asking about it and what you thought could be done. And since I live right down the road from there, and yes, the big trees, they were beautiful. they caused a little bit of havoc in the winter. So something like these wouldn't have the leaves, wouldn't have, I mean, you would have some cleanup,
I talk a little bit about Scott Settlement under board discussion.
It's what I thought, so I wasn't sure if I
Yeah.
should bring it up now or
That's
not.
okay.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, so I just kind of think
Okay.
that those would be nice trees.
Appreciate your comments.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, new business. We've got 8 items here tonight. Planning Commission appointment. Now, Planning Commission appointments are generally the supervisor's pick, so to speak. Okay? We've instituted a program that we interview the candidates that are interested. That way the board has a chance, okay, because it's the board that actually approves or disapproves the supervisor's pick. So it helps the supervisor in that appointment, okay, being that it's more of a board action. We had several good candidates, and I don't want to, we've got one position. And I don't want anybody to think that if they didn't get picked for the planning commission, it wasn't that they were a good candidate. They all are. But the candidate that we are presently going to, at least I will make I guess if that's a form of a motion, would be Leo Hager for planning commission. Secondly, we have a ZBA alternate appointment, and I would suggest Lindsay Senstock for the ZBA alternate. So the floor is open to the board for comments, questions, concerns.
I agree with with your recommendations.
Okay, we need a motion to that effect.
Go ahead.
I can make, I move to approve the appointment of Leo Hager to the Planning Commission with a term ending December 31st, 2026, by recommendation of the supervisor.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support to appoint Leo Hager to the planning commission. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
What was the term?
It ends December 31st, 2026.
1 year?
He's taking over for Andrea in her term.
Oh, I
You
see.
fill the
Okay,
balance.
so I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, you always fill the balance.
Yeah, fills the
Okay.
term.
Okay, we want to do this as a roll call, please.
Henneke, yes. Streeter,
Yes.
Swears,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Eschenberg,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Roseback.
Yes. Okay, motion is approved. Need a motion also for Lindsay Senstock to be appointed to the ZBA alternate position.
I'll make the motion again. I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Lindsay Sengstock as alternate to the ZBA with a term ending December 31st, 2027, by recommendation of the supervisor.
Support.
Yes, support.
Mhm.
Okay, another roll
That's
call.
right.
Two.
Roll call, please.
Henneke, yes. Eschenberg,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Swears,
Yes.
Dodge,
Yes.
Streeter,
Yes.
Roseback.
Yes. Okay, third item on our agenda, motion is approved. Third item on our agenda is a deputy treasurer appointment. And Kim, I'm going to turn that discussion over to you.
Okay, well, Tara had some family commitments, come up. She wanted to spend a little bit more time with her family. So, I have a great candidate, Terry, Gratt, and she's a long established member of the community, an awesome person and a great, she comes with a lot of office skills, and, I'm excited to have her come on board with us. So I would like to move to approve the appointment of Terry Gratt as Deputy Treasurer effective November 19th, 2025. And this would be the starting salary of $18 per the HR manual, and then following that process.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have support?
Support.
Rick?
Yes.
Support?
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion?
Could you say the name again? I couldn't hear it.
Terry Gratt, Graat.
Grot.
I'm sorry,
Grot.
Gratt.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
She was supposed to come and we were gonna interview her tonight,
I
but
know.
she had another commitment.
All right. Item number 4, Park Board appointment. So I've got an application here. It says Village of Almont, okay? Application for appointment to the Park Board from Roberta. So, Roberta, I'm a little unclear as to the township's appointing you, but this is what I understand is that we have to appoint you formally, and then the village does as well, I assume?
No.
No? Okay.
By our bylaws, which
We come up to the thing, just because people ask all the time.
I think this is my first time being up here. Okay. What's happened is our bylaws are explicit about saying the first member has to be appointed one township resident and one village resident by the council and by the township board. That's been taken care of always. The second appointment was this is when it very first started with our bylaws. The second appointment was supposed to be done, the township has another at-large, let's say, township person, and the village has their person. So that's the second member of the board. And then after that, whoever applies can be appointed by the park board themselves.
Okay.
So that's how that's been done. And since I was appointed by the township board back in 2014, and when I was treasurer, once I retired, then the township board was supposed to appoint another person from the township board, which was Kim. And in the meantime, we saw that when I was done retiring, when I retired, then the park board appointed me as a member of the park board. Well, according to our bylaws, that was not correct. So we're trying to abide by our bylaws, so that's why I'm here. I mean, I've been here since 2014.
Right.
But it's for a 3-year term, and it's to, abide by our bylaws is what that's all about.
So we need a motion then from the board, from the floor, to appoint you
Right.
to the park board.
For
I'll make a
three-
motion
three-year
to
term.
appoint Roberta Cudson to the Almont Township and Village Park Board.
Support.
Motion's on the floor with support to appoint Roberta Knudsen to the park board. Any other?
So is your term start today? Is that the 3-year term?
Yes.
It starts today. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board, comments?
So the bylaws don't require that your appointment be a township, I guess the village is a township, part of the
Yeah,
township.
the village already appointed Melissa Schneider
Right.
as their appointee, and then I will be the one from the township. Mhm.
Okay, motion's on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for all you do.
And just, thank you. And just for an update, we did do some planting at the park. They did do some. As long as it wasn't the first hard frost, they could do it. So they did it last week. We got 6 new trees and 9 shrubs. The shrubs are going like by the riverside, that area, to keep that from going into the river. And I think all the trees are on the flooded area that we usually get over by the swing sets. And that's because these trees that were picked are okay with the water. They need that water.
Okay.
We couldn't put those over across the bridge because of that. So they need that water.
What kind of trees are they?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Okay. That's not important.
One's a willow. It's really
willow,
pretty
yeah,
because it
okay.
had, some of them, they look like sticks because, this year. But it was okay for us to do that, and the board approve doing that for the fall. And then when the spring comes around, we've got some other ideas. We're going to do a memorial garden. And we would like one section for memorials towards the people that were involved with the park that have passed away. We're going to do that. And then the other ones, as people come along and their person passes away, they want to put in a tree or a shrub or a bench. We're going to work with American Tree so they can kind of not put whatever they want.
Right.
They put whatever's conducive to our property. So we're moving forward.
You've got good support from American Tree.
Yeah. Yes,
You did a
yes.
nice job.
They gave us good prices and everything, so, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Roberta. Item number 5 is a snow contract to Yard Services, who plows and salts our fire department complex, is asking and offering to extend their contract 1 year. The pricing, you should all have a copy of this. The pricing would be the same as last year's contract. So that is submitted October 27th. So any questions from the board, comments, concerns?
Well, the fire chief's here. He's part of this. Let's hear
I'm fine with Yard Services.
it. Fine, okay.
You're
My
happy
questions
with
have been
it?
answered.
Yeah, okay.
I make a motion that we hire Yard Services to do the snow plowing, salting at the fire hall.
Support. Okay, motion's on the floor with support. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I have one question. It does say, it says on here that it's the same price as 24-25, but the document that's provided is from 22-23. Do we have the one from
That went through
23-24?
April 15th. If you keep reading it down on the first paragraph, it ended on April 15th of 2025.
Right, I get that part, but do we actually have a contract with them? We're extending a one that expired. Shouldn't we have one that's updated?
Create
I
a new
mean,
contract or
I-
just
Or at
update
least-
Are
the
you
date?
gonna correct it? What,
Or
I
should we
created
change
the
the-
contract, so
Should
I
we change
can,
the dates?
yeah, I
Yeah.
can find this
Okay.
hopefully and
Yeah, I'm-
recreate it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, it's just,
Well, I have it, but is it an electronic version?
The one we currently had last year, that ended,
Right.
was a 3-year.
Right, but they're saying they want a new contract
Right,
signed
but
for
it
just
Wasn't put
25,
out back out
26.
for bid, and I also looked
Right.
at it and went, okay, well, it's kind of late, so let's.
Right. I'll get
do
it.
that, so we can.
So-
I'll
this-
create a document for the 25, 26.
So this contract's just for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay. That's approved, we voted on that. That's approved.
Yes.
Okay. All right, next item. Treasurer's positive pay. Kimberly, I'm gonna give that to you again.
Right, I'm looking for a resolution. What positive pay is, it's a program with Tri-County Bank, and we work in conjunction with the bank. And this just helps us add more tools to our process to identify and stop as much fraud as possible. What we will do is when we have a check run and have a listing of all our checks, we download the information to the bank. This is all secured. We basically make them aware of the payee, the check number, the amount, the issue date. As it goes through their systems, they match it electronically. If for whatever reason one thing does not match, they will not process and move forward with that check. They will reach out to us electronically again and give us the opportunity to approve it or confirm that it is not a check that we issued. So what I'm looking for is a resolution just to move forward with that. And we hope to get that rolling as soon as possible. It's something we've been wanting to do for a long time. And Tri-County Bank just had to catch up. and get this in play, and now we are there. So I would like to move to approve the positive pay procedures and policy and resolution as presented.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor addressing the positive pay procedures, policy, and resolution. Do we have support?
Support.
And we have support. Any other board discussion?
So Kim, you provide them the information when a check is, when we issue a check, right? This is
Correct.
for outgoing money.
Correct.
Incoming.
And as everybody remembers, we did have an issue with fraud earlier this year, and it was, it added a lot of extra work running around and issues that we didn't necessarily want to do. We certainly have enough on our plate, don't need to add that to. This is going to avoid that moving forward, and it's going to protect the township. So yes, Rick, what we'll do is we download this information automatically. It's already in the BSNA system. The village does this. Many other communities do this. Again, we were just waiting for Tri-County Bank to launch their program. They just were running a little behind, but it should work. Again, this pertains to all the general check, the fire checks, tax checks, anything like that is going to be wrapped into this umbrella. And again, it adds another layer of protection against fraud.
Are all our accounts with Tri-County Bank then?
They are, yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Private road policy that we've struggled with for several months. After discussion with our attorney, several of the board members, we've come to, I guess, a decision here tonight. The decision would be, I guess, not to finance private roads, okay? Jenny put together a policy. We all should have a copy of it. Reference these SAD districts, they call them SAD districts, special assessment districts. And there's a rationale behind it. We've got 35 private roads in this township. We get involved in financing these. It could become a very involved, difficult process, expensive process for the board to undertake that endeavor. So on the last page of this document, I don't think I have to read it in its entirety. You've all got a copy. It says there are no exceptions to this policy. Property owners seeking to fund private road improvements must pursue private agreements or arrangements outside of the township's assessment mechanisms. So I'll open the board to any questions, comments, concerns, reference this, and look for a motion.
This document here has been in front of Siebert.
Chris Anderson looked over it, yes.
She did.
Yep.
I'm fine with it then. I just think that, make sure that we're not doing something here that,
Nope, I
We're
typed it up and she
fine.
said she
I'm
wouldn't add
good with it
anything,
then.
so.
so the only question I have.
Anything else?
Yeah. Under definitions for a special assessment district, it says to assess a fee to pay for public improvements. It's a private road, right? How does it become public improvements?
Well, that's what a special assessment district is, usually public improvements.
Regardless of the fact that it's private property, private road, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had Chris Anderson look it over and she said she wouldn't change anything, so.
It seemed like public improvements to me. Okay.
Anything else?
But Siebert did look at this?
Christine Anderson.
Yeah, she
Or
worked.
Christine
Yeah.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Siebert's
Siebert's
partner.
partner.
Right, okay.
motion?
I don't have a copy of it.
Did you get a copy, Rick? I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the private road policy as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion's on the floor with support to approve the private road policy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Lastly, on our new business is the work done in our parking lot on the drainage system, on the one catch basin on the north side. And there's two catch basins, one in the middle of the driveway and one off into the parking area, where we brought a downspout off the sidewalk directly in the ground into the catch basin. And then there's another one that was reconstructed in the back on the west side of the parking lot. The original bid was about $5,600. When we got into the interior of the excavation, it was found that I don't know, Don, we call that a sleeve? What do you call that?
The actual catch basin, the thing that sits in the ground
Yeah,
and collects the rainwater.
right. That was faulty. That required it to be replaced. We couldn't find a precast, so it was done, I guess, the original way they were designed, by bricking it up. It was quite an extensive excavation for Rock and Ron Corporation. It added another $4,200 to the project. Okay, that would have brought, we approved last month the $5,600. So I don't think we had a choice, obviously, in the matter. It was a repair that was necessary, that was unbeknownst to us from the get-go. So that would have brought the total project up to $9,800. So we need a motion on the floor, support the $4,200. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, now's the time. And I would look for a motion to that effect.
I was up here, I witnessed it. The top ring that it sets in there, I don't know what they call it, but it was just rusted away and broke. I
Is
guess
that-
I have no problem moving forward. One thing that I would like to do is acknowledge Mr. Smith there for aiding in this and helping us out, get through this
Right.
here. Hopefully, he kept an eye on it there for us. Hopefully, can you hear me back there?
Nothing says thank you like $100 bills.
No, there were some things I think that Don questioned there, Mr. Rock and Ron, and I think he kind of set it straight there on a few things. So, yeah, I guess thank Don for being around to help us on that, so.
Yes, thank you very much, Don. So,
So can I ask a question? So when they bring in 4 inches of additional asphalt, how do they blend that with the concrete? Because right now it looks like the concrete is flush with the existing asphalt.
They're gonna grind this out. This asphalt's gonna be ground out here. They're gonna lay it back down. They're gonna grind it all the way up, put it back down, compact it, and then they're gonna put, I believe it was a 2.5 inches down of a real coarse, and then 1.5 inches on the very top. So they are gonna grind it down.
And just go over this.
And if there's extra millings, they're gonna haul them away. So yes, it should blend in just fine.
that sound right, Mr. Smith?
Yes, what they'll do is they'll grind that up, the machine will come in and turn it to basically look like gravel. They'll regrade it to match the concrete edges and then put their paving over top. So they'll actually lower that grade out there to be able to match the basin.
Got it.
And I do believe that, correct me if I'm right or wrong, Gary, but they put extra thick cement out here around that new catch
They
basin.
did for the truck traffic on the dumpsters.
Instead of doing, I don't know, what was it, 6 or 8, I think he put 10 or something, didn't he?
Reinforced it heavier, right?
Yeah.
So if he didn't do that, Mike, what would happen is you would see some elevation issues at sidewalks and other things where the interfaces. That's why they had to grind it and regrade it, so that it all works with the existing structure.
And
I
I would,
figured there was gonna be a lip, the concrete would have been higher, they would come up to it, but they're gonna actually drop down and do it, that's fine.
Yeah, you'll see, they'll regrade it.
and they did a great job with that downspout too. So that is no longer a health and safety issue. It what?
They
Okay.
took the downspout elbow off, they took the screw out and water was squirting out of there, but I
Yeah.
caulked it up.
You're a handy guy, Randy.
Oh, I'm gonna stick with Don. $100 bills.
Another $100, okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor with support.
Wasn't this,
We have a motion on the floor, no support, okay. Motion on the floor from
Well,
Randy.
he didn't really make the full motion. He just
Oh,
said-
yeah, I'll make the motion that we approve the extra cost to Rock and Roll.
Can you add $4,200?
$4,200 for the additional catch basin rebuild.
We have support.
No, we didn't, Swears.
You support him? Swears, okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed?
did, it
Okay,
doesn't
motion
matter.
carries. Second, public comment, anything out there? Yes, Don?
I need to correct myself, that in-truck service date is December 1. I think I said February, didn't I? So-
January.
Yeah, December 1.
It's going into service in December
Yeah,
1.
about 30 days.
Okay. All right, thanks, Don. Anything else from the public? Okay, correspondence, I have none. Does anybody else have any correspondence they want to discuss tonight? No? Board discussion. First item on the discussion is the cemetery Scott settlement tree removal. Stacy Metz, do you care to come up to the podium? Stacy has offered her interest and services. She's got some relatives, if you will, okay, that reside in Scott Settlement Cemetery, and she's interested in the improvements that this board has said we're going to take on with our cemetery. So Stacy, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Okay, well, the reason I'm here is twofold. The first one is about the cemetery itself and getting it cleaned up and getting it to a point where we can put back what was needfully taken away. I use that term loosely, but there is a dead tree and a cedar or an arborvitae that is splitting in 5 different directions, and the cost of banding it is too much. So I, with Mr. Grosbeck's approval, got 3 different quotes, and they're in front of you, I hope. Does everybody have
They
these?
should have a copy.
Okay, so there are 3, and I, with your recommendation, will move ahead to get those trees removed, and then I'll be back to talk about other things.
So who'd you have the best feel from, Stacy, on
The best feel for me was Elite Arborists, because they are nationally recognized in this department, and I felt that they not only gave the removal and the grinding, but then they would do cleanup and get the wood out of there too. One company was going to charge more for that, and the company that I actually was recommending to begin with came in, almost $1,000 more for the same thing. And then we get this nationally accredited arborist. His name was David. I felt that the Elite was the best.
What is their address? Because their invoice does not have any address at all on it, any physical
Or
address.
Elite?
Correct, yeah.
I believe they were coming out of Lapeer, but I can certainly find out for you,
Okay,
for sure. Let me write
All
that
right.
down to get that for you.
Stacy, we're not gonna actually make any decisions tonight on it.
Okay,
We're gonna discuss it, okay?
of course.
And I appreciate your input, certainly. So any other comments from the board, reference this?
Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
My heart is in it because my family, when they came here in 1842, that's where they started being buried, and like 90% of the cemetery are my relatives. So it's near and dear to me, and it is my honor to do this.
While we have you here, what's your thoughts on a fence out there?
Every time I pull up there, I can't see a fence.
What's your thoughts? You say you
I
can't envision one.
I can't envision it.
Okay.
I think it would be too impeding on safely parking on the road and safely staying away from
Okay.
other vaults and stones that are there pre-existing. And we need to remember that this was pre-existing,
Right.
all of us.
Right.
So to treat this kindly and with respect is my utmost concern. And I'm working with American Tree. I'm still getting the quotes in from the fence companies. I've been working side by side with them, meeting them out there and going over this. But right now, I'm just waiting on them, and I'm putting maybe something with stone. I mean, I got so much stone on my property that I could probably, put a fence around the whole thing. But that's not what we're looking for
Well,
at this
the
time.
board would like, I guess, input from those neighbors that are affected by that cemetery on a daily basis,
Okay.
So whether a fence is put there or not put there, I don't think the board is, at this point, really have an opinion, but
Okay.
we'd like citizen involvement,
course.
such as yours.
Of course.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
And then may I speak on the other issue? Some other things have come to light since I spoke with you earlier today, and I think that the board needs to be aware.
Sure.
There has been an issue with the Hopper family and their plots. And they've been wanting to have their stone moved and centered on 2 plots that they own. But the company that was hired to put the stone in set the base stone backwards on the slab. Now, mind you, this pre-exists probably all of us because it was back with Hank Gutenkuntz. His name is all over this. So he was the sexton at the time. So what I offered to the family was to come forth in their name and say, all right, the lifting of the stone, which has been verbally quoted to me at $250, would be on the township. Now, this is what I feel. Obviously, it's not what you've decided. The rest of it, and what Jerry Powinski as sexton has verbally quoted to me, is going to be over $700 to re-slab where it needs to be, etc. They're fine with that. They're willing to pay that to have it moved and put in the proper place. So when I called them this afternoon, they sent me some paperwork. And I said, thank you very much. It's the paperwork that Hank signed, gave to them. It's their bills of sale. I hung up with them and started really looking at it and found a very, very big problem. And that would be that the stone was set on a plot that they did not purchase. The plot they purchased in 2016, was part B of a set of 4, and it was put on part A. They then had so they bought the plot, the stone was put on the wrong one, then later on they decided to buy a second plot to the north. So we assumed that it was put where it was supposed to be, but according to the records, the stone was first put on the wrong one, and they second bought what they are calling A next to it. So now the stone is centered on a plot that they now own. It was the second one they purchased. It is not centered. So I don't know now who is going to bear the responsibility of that cost to center the stone because it was actually put on, unless it was a misprint, and I have documentation showing that they bought B and it was put on A in
How long ago did
2017.
they purchase those?
2016 is when they were moving forward with their funeral planning. So they bought the first one. 2017, the stone was set. In 2018, they bought the second one.
Did the township take Scott Settlement over, you remember? What year?
That I don't
Well,
know.
if Hank's name is over that, Hank has been the sexton for that since the township.
Must have been
owned it,
township
so
cemetery.
It must have been.
Okay, all right.
My, just 2 cents on it is that I think if township's in error, then the township should bear the cost, okay? So I think the correct thing to do would be to come in, maybe sit down, go over these maps with Gary and try to figure it out. I don't have a problem.
We're looking at approximately, I mean, it could be just over $1,000. But again, I was coming here tonight in preparation to say, hey, the family will pay the big part if you'll just
Right.
pay to move the stone and fix
Right.
it. But now I'm looking at that it wasn't in the right place. to
But I
begin
think
with.
you have documents that you said you just got today.
Yes.
I think I would suggest for you to come in and sit down with Gary and talk and show that to him.
Sure.
And maybe
Does
we
that
could
sound
get
good?
copies of it and
Of
hopefully
course.
within, we can resolve this.
Actually, I think that the copies are already in the hard files. The computer isn't showing it. And we've already talked
Okay,
about maybe sitting
okay.
down and doing that. So if you're all
Okay.
right with that, I'd be more than happy to come in
Sure.
and do that on the family's
Works
behalf.
for me.
We'll set something up, Stace, okay?
Very good.
All
Thank you. That's it for me.
Should we include Jerry though?
I'm sorry?
Should we include Jerry?
Yes, yeah, we'll.
Yeah, if there's some new foundations to be, footings to be put in out there, yeah, Jerry's gonna do them.
Well, I've already asked him. That's why he gave me the quote. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, that's
700 and
fine.
some dollars.
That's fine.
He just has to get the
Okay.
quote to you. And I know he's on vacation, so that ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
It will eventually all fall into
Okay.
place.
We'll get
Very
it done.
good. All right. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Stacy.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Stacy.
Okay, anything else? No, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on, I agree with Stacy that A+ seems to be a little sketchy on these bids. I wasn't sure how clear that was, so, for a future reference.
A+, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think it looked like they were doing as much as
Yeah, he's
Stacy's recommendation.
low bidder.
So,
Well, the cedar is like right smack in the middle of the
Yeah.
cemetery. And, I mean, there's gravestones all around it. They have to be extremely careful there so that nothing gets broke or damaged. The elm tree that's in the back, that kind of butts up against Vineyard's property back there, that one could be managed differently and there's less stuff going on back there.
They're hoping to access both trees with the same access drive, and the nationally accredited arborist, I believe it was Elite, has dealt with these small, fine spaces before and has done a remarkable job.
It says on their quote that they're licensed and insured, but I would imagine before we enter into the contract with them, we would ask for a copy of their
We'll do
insurance.
some more investigation on it, Rick, and probably put it on next month's agenda, okay?
I did talk to Jerry about this today and he is okay with this,
Okay,
so.
okay.
I was-
That's
'cause I
that
kinda-
one dead tree is pretty big tree. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not something that, I don't know if Jerry would want to actually tangle with, but,
No, he doesn't.
He
Right.
said,
No, he does not.
yeah,
I reached out to him because I didn't see his name anywhere in any of this and I
right.
just reached out to him to clarify, so.
All right, lastly, Wade Trim zoning ordinance rewrite discussion. We've kind of all round robin this for a couple months, I guess. Dennis, should I turn this over to you at this point?
I'm not sure what more I can say, Gary.
Okay,
I think that you've got some choices here. I know I've heard some feedback from various board members about looking at having this done by a subcommittee. Kevin is here from the chair of the planning commission. I think Kevin's got some things he'd like to add. I think it's a challenge not to use a professional organization to take on a 33-year-old ordinance. We got to bring it up to the 21st century. I know it's a lot of money, But I think this thing is really a challenge. To do it through a subcommittee, you're asking volunteers to do one hell of a lot of work. And I would not want to be the chair of that committee, because that's what we're hiring Wade Trim to do. You will lose. I may turn it over to let Kevin speak if that's okay with the board.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Kevin, you got something to say?
And I'll add to Kevin's discussion.
Introduce myself to those in the audience who may not know. My name is Kevin Valunga. I'm the current presiding chair of the Almont Township Planning Commission, at a minimum through the end of this year. And back in February, we had started to look, because we had some comments from basically our customers, people who want to develop areas in the township, that our current zoning ordinances were somewhat either vague or overly onerous on them, or circular in nature, that they would look at one area and it would ask certain requirements and refer to another area, and that area was either missing or pointing back to the original area, and it was not something that their consultants were spending money on trying to meet our requirements, their architects or engineers or whatnot. So we started going through the ordinance on a monthly basis, and we had developed a hit list of different areas of things we wanted to change, and it was becoming very, very large, very quickly. So we put a stop to it, and I believe it was August. It put it on hold because the issues with our current, or lack of contract with the current planner who was involved, and his leaving Bill, I'm going to say Roth, but Rowe. And then bringing Caitlin on in the September-October timeframe, we just said, enough's enough. We were spending time on things that we really didn't need to. So what I wanted to go over, and I apologize, Gary, I gave you wrong information. It is 33 years old. It was 1992, and it has been amended twice since then. Without getting into specific details of what was amended, it has been amended several times. Just to compare, in 1992, we had an estimated 4,700 people. We currently are pushing past 7,000, 67% increase. So 27, we had 1,600 estimated households. We're at 2,700 households now. That's a 59% increase. So we've grown significant in housing. And I didn't get into the business end of it because there's not too many publicly available records in that regard. A median Midwest home, there wasn't much involved there. Back in 1992, it was $114,000. By today's standards, that's well over $290,000. So again, the wealth coming into the area, the amount of money people are investing in the area has grown more than double, probably close to 160% or more. Over double, close to 160%. And some of the housing in the area, I did find some reports that say it's up to 365. So that is 3 times the value. So people are looking for value here in the area. Household income, again, is also doubled as well. So we have a more affluent people coming into the area who are looking for answers. They want to make sure that their properties are protected. Some of the, and we've had in the past year, this past year, we've had several homeowners who are concerned about encroachment, whether it was warranted or not. But in order to make sure that we're protecting them and ourselves as a board, some of these areas are still open for discussion. there are many inconsistencies as well. There's quite a few township violations that aren't being enforced. Now, that's more due to just
Ordinance enforcement?
no, not ordinance enforcement. What's the word I'm looking for? It's more because they're so commonplace. It's become it's just become the norm as opposed to the exception. And we're not enforcing it because no one wants it enforced. It's not because of our OEO not doing their job. It's just become commonplace violations. The other thing, as you've seen, you've probably all had the other was it Armada? Not Armada. Attica. The Attica format. It's been updated. It's readable. It's electronic. Our language and our current format are not user friendly. It's cumbersome. It's hard to cross-reference different areas because, quite frankly, in 1992, that's not how we did things. It was all done longhand. The other thing is there's a lot of citations and references that are cyclical or redundant that this update would fix. And there are also cases in there that really need to be addressed. We have case law and precedent that are, some ordinances are no longer enforceable or are superseded by Michigan law that we're exposed now because it is so outdated. And because of that, it's non-compliant. So I'd like to really see us move forward on this. I think we owe it to the residents. I think we owe it to the business community. We have a lot of development going on. We've got the storage area. We've got the other places. We've got the people who are interested in the old LaFontaine Shopping Center. I don't know what they're calling it nowadays, but I know it was purchased where the Andy's Gun store is at, the chiropractor. And there's quite a bit of interest in a lot of the property south. There's interest in Blake's wanting to grow their business, wanting to do some things down there, plus all along the east side of Van Dyke, south of town. There's a lot of interest. I don't think there's any movement, but I know there's a lot of interest. So there's a real need that we do this sooner rather than later. Okay.
Questions from the board for Kevin? Comments?
Kevin, I do have a question. So you said you began putting together a list of issues that you guys wanted to address.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of just?
Unfortunately, I don't have it with me, and we haven't reviewed it in 3 months. So
how big a list are you talking about?
Well,
We went through Article 2, Mike. After about 2 hours of a full 7-board planning commission meeting, we got through about a third of it. And the issues were sent back to the planner, the professionals. Questions were sent back to the professionals, both the engineer and the planner. And like Kevin said, that's when the professional from Rowe came forward and said, you really need to do a proposal. This is a normal process. When you do the master plan, you update your zoning ordinance. Our zoning ordinance, like Kevin said, is 33 years old. What you lose without the professional is best practices that they can bring to the table that a subcommittee without those professionals would not have that wherewithal. They would not have that knowledge. They would bring in potential state law changes. There's a number of things that the professionals you're hiring to do for the subcommittee to support the subcommittee. So, yeah, it's a natural process following the master plan. But like I said, we got through about 1/3 of Article 2, maybe in an hour and a half, 2-hour meeting. And I looked at it tonight, and there's multiple. You asked me, Mike, about which articles are the bad ones. There's quite a few. there's quite a few that need to be updated. And like Kevin was saying, and bring it up to the electronic format, similar to what Attica Township does. That's a weight trim product. That's a weight trim proposal that we're looking at here. So if you don't have the professionals, you really take a big risk of screwing this thing up. It's been amended a couple of times per Kevin's analysis, and it is a Band-Aid fix. And
It opens us up, now everything we do as a board, all has to go through review. If the planners have to go through legal review, if the planners have it, they've got all that stuff beforehand. It's going to save time and money in the long run.
And I guess I take offense when you guys say that this is a 33-year-old document, because it is not. There have been many, many updates and amendments throughout the years. I served 16 years on that planning commission from 2007 to 2023. We continually looked at things, reviewed. If there was an issue that was coming up, we addressed that. I've said before, the way you look at how well your zoning ordinance works is to look at your zoning board of appeals. Those are the people that are requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance. We do not have that many in the past 5 years. That says that people are working within the ordinance. Does it need to be amended? It absolutely does. There's always little things. That's on the planning commission to work on that as you find those, as you come across those. It does not need a reformat, a redo. And again, kind of bouncing back to what Mike said, what is it exactly? Because the zoning ordinance appears to be working. So I don't understand exactly what you hope to change in it, because our residents are working within the zoning ordinance. Your point is great about enforcement. I could not agree more with that. That's another issue. But I really think that having a $30,000 bid to redo something just to look at a different, more friendly format really needs some additional thought on this board's part. I looked at Attica's also. It is very wonderful. I agree. But $30,000 is a lot to pay just for a reformatted look. I really, really encourage your planning commission to jump into certain things and start grabbing the things that really need your attention. I have talked to Johnny, I talked to Gary. If you want to reformat it, have a different look, have it be more user-friendly. I played around with ChatGPT. It will literally reformat the zoning ordinance. You can do it in sections, you can do it as a whole. You can tell it how you want it to read. You can have it be more friendly online, just viewing it, or you can have it be worded differently. And don't forget also that Caitlin worked on this zoning ordinance. So her bid and her $30,000 proposal is for something she worked on a number of years ago. So again, you guys know where I'm at. I've been upfront about it. Some of us are going to have to agree to disagree on this, but your planning commission just needs to look at it section by section, do the work that you think needs to be addressed. Are there inconsistencies? I wouldn't be surprised. A document that large is bound to have them. But that's where you guys have to jump in, and that's where our professionals step in, and that is their job to look at it. That's how I feel. So I hope I didn't offend you or Kevin, but truly, I speak from experience on this.
No, when I started on the board, you were a member, so your past services, shows greatly. The point I'm trying to make is, or the point we're trying to make is, let's move it into the next century.
I agree with you. It needs to be updated, but not $30,000 updated. I think it just needs some hard work using the professional. Has she even attended a meeting?
Yes.
One?
Only one, because that's all she's done on board.
And she's ready to redo the whole thing. And so I think.
No, this
just-
was not by her,
Well, her proposal.
Right.
Right.
This was not, by her suggestion.
Okay, and I understand, you guys are trying to do the best thing, and you're trying to get the best document. But I think there's, I used to hope that too when I was on the PC. It was a dream, but I never gave up with it. But that's where I'm at with this, so.
Yep, understand.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
if you had all 7 of the planning commission working on it, sometimes too big of a committee slows the thing down.
That's true,
A smaller, more focused group. I guess I'm wondering if there were a couple of people, and I realize nobody works for free. I'll work for free. I'll volunteer to donate all of my time to work with
Yeah.
a small subgroup to see if we can't at least get the scope down. To what?
I could use some help.
No, I'm not cleaning your garage out, but I mean, just if there's a way that we could just look at it, maybe narrow the scope of what we would be asking somebody else to do. But I guess this is just my personal opinion. I'm not comfortable spending their money until I'm sure we've at least taken a solid shot at doing it in-house to the extent that we could. If we hit a brick wall, I'll be the first one to say, hey, we're in way over our heads. We're in the deep water. We're making a mistake. But I feel like I owe it to at least try. And if there's members of the planning commission and if they have to be paid a stipend to sit in a room and go through, I don't want nothing, but I would be happy to approve doing that, to just whittle it down. And maybe it becomes if it comes down to just a change of format, if there's another way to improve the formatting, maybe we can make it better. I don't know.
The format's more secondary right now. I think there's a lot of areas in there that could be improved and streamlined. The electronic format notwithstanding, that's just a come along. It's going to come along as well.
I've got people here that are all smarter than me, and I'm sure somebody else could take the time to sit down. I think a smaller group, if we prioritize, here's the most egregious mistakes we've got, let's see if we can't clean those up. And anything that we decide on, we're going to have to put the time in anyway, because this board would have to approve any changes or any modifications.
Of course.
We're going to put the work in anyhow. Maybe we put it in up front. Maybe we can get the scope down, get the cost down. That's kind of the way I look at things. So that's just my opinion.
And isn't the cost is going to be quite a bit more than 30,000. That's just the bill, 29,000 or so to Wade Trim. But we've got public notices, meetings, all of that needs to happen for each and everything that gets changed. So that's going to be, it might even drive special meetings that would drive some of the cost. It's not super expensive, but it is more.
I guess the only challenge I would have, Mike, for your brick wall, when you enter, what is the criteria that we know when we're in over our head? In my opinion, to do it with members of the planning commission takes a risk. Without professional guidance, we don't know what's coming down in state law. I suspect some of this, as Kevin has already said, we are not in compliance with state law. That's where the professional comes into play, that game. It's a challenge.
But that is their job, right?
I don't know when we're in the off-ramp to say it's time now. We spent 3, 6, 8 months on this. It's time now to bring in the professionals and let them guide us through this thing. I don't know what that off-ramp.
But you should be working together as you're going through it. That's the way we always did it.
That would be on a subcommittee basis, hiring Wade Trim to sit in on that subcommittee, right?
Well, you can do a lot of it at the meetings. If you have some issues that are kind of sticky, just take an hour, a meeting, say, these are issues we're kind of throwing around a little bit, and then the professional would throw the issues and the thoughts.
That's what happened in
That's how we.
2010.
At our last meeting, I think I kind of wanted to get a poll out of anybody on the board, which I got nothing, to see how many people were in support of Dennis's direction here. I said I was. I still am. I guess Dennis is our representative on the planning commission. He does wonderful work there. Kevin's here tonight. I'm listening to Kevin that we need to do something. I am in favor of it. I don't have a problem saying it. I guess the question is, what direction are we gonna go now? Or are we just gonna like slide this off and come back next meeting and say, where are we at? So, if you want a motion, I'll make a motion that we approve the $30,000 for the weight trim proposal. Rewrite, yes, I'll make it.
Motion?
Yeah, let's see where it goes and see if it'll either fly or go away.
All right, we got a motion on the floor. No second. We got support. Okay, we're gonna do a roll call.
Thank you
vote.
all.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Eschenberg,
Yes.
Swears,
Yes.
Chris,
No.
Dodge. Streeter,
No.
Henneke, no. Grosbeck,
Yes. Went down 4-3.
went down.
Motion failed.
I'd still like to look at this.
You what?
I'd still like to look at it. I don't want to make it just a dead deal, right? I mean, we were just pinned against the wall, vote right now. It's extremely important. I was on the planning commission for 8 years or so as well. I know that we spent time with Scott Cree, Doug, and Caitlin for probably the better part of a year when the room was over here facing that way and went line by line, chart by chart in there and went through the whole thing. I'm kind of disappointed that it's that far off, especially since Caitlin was part of that. You know, it gets updated after the master plan gets updated, which was 5 years ago in 2020 when it got updated last. And I see that the update on there is 2021 and she was part of that. So it should be only things that are captured from there on. I do agree with Kevin that we have had some things come from the public where they say it's kind of unfriendly. I don't know that it's necessarily the document or the general consensus of what that board looked like at that time. Because there's people that protect certain entities or, you know, genres of businesses that they want or that they don't want. You know, there's that balance between farmland and big business. You know, you get the Target guy comes in, wants to build a Target. You know, you got 4 farmers up there and they're screw you know, kind of thing. So that's where that's kind of going in that direction is that, you know, the planning commission's kind of newer. And I think they're looking more ahead than looking backward. So I'm in support of that. But I do like the fact of maybe having a committee where some people can sit down and look at some things. My guess is they're probably going to take the current document from Attica that's so well liked and kind of input some of the information in it. But we would have to determine what would have to be, you know, would have to be voted on by the board for approvals. If we get to that point where it's unachievable, and I have no problem paying, you know, we're at 30,000 plus. If we paid planning commission members a pretty good pay to do this, I would be okay with that, and we would still save the township a bunch of money. So
It would be nice to bifurcate the cost of doing the technical online improvement. You know, their patented, you know, the way they did it for Attica versus fixing the ordinances. You know, the 30,000 did both from what I understood from their proposal. Maybe the must do is the fixing the ordinances and making them clear. What we'd like to do is maybe we come up with a shiny new system that allows easier access. I would like to see if there's a way can we fix what we have to fix? And then is there another way to do the extra value added online access piece? I don't know. Theirs was the entire package. And you know, I'm just saying, I don't understand it well enough to be able to say, yeah, this is worth every penny. Maybe after one meeting, I'd say, oh my God, this is 50,000 in work and 30,000 is a deal. I don't know, but I'm happy to look at it. And I'll volunteer to be the first person to throw their time in the hat. I don't care how long it takes.
All right, for further discussion at this point, I have nothing else.
I just have one thing. Seems how Roberta is here, I have a question for her. Seems how we haven't had a tire thing here in years. Whose shoulder did you leave that on when you left? Okay. I thought somebody volunteered at one time.
I did.
Good. You're on the list to take care of it next year. I got a lot of tires to get rid of. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, anything else from the board?
I had one thing that it kind of got brought up when we were talking about the snow contract for the fire hall. Bids. We probably need to establish our contracts in some type of like Excel spreadsheet or whatever and define where they end so that we can get ahead of it rather than just, it snowed this morning and we approved a snow contract. Like we're way behind on this deal. We should be looking at this in March of last year, or of this year. We should have been looking at it to award something. If we're looking to go out for bid or just re-upping one, we should be looking at things ahead of time. So, I don't know if we can throw together a straw poll list or whatever to just say, here are known contracts that are out there and their expiration dates, and then we can talk about them in this meeting and
I
say,
think there is a list, isn't there, somewhere? I think we've got it one time of all the contracts that we have.
so we should at least review it and say, this one we need to look at 6 months in advance because it's complex, or we need to look at the criteria or what we're going to send out for when we send out the request for bid, or is it going to go in the paper? What's the media, how are we going to do it? So that way we're at least being fair. I mean, I don't know.
We could work on that, sure. It's good suggestion.
So,
Gary, I'd also have an item if that's okay.
Yeah.
So every 2 months, I send you guys a budget analysis to kind of show our run rate and where we're at. I would suggest some of them seem to be tracking in a direction that we may want to address soon. By the time we get to January, I'll run it'll be a 6 and 6 report, and then we'll be halfway through the year. And we should have clear sight to how we're going to land the plane right on the money at the end of the year with all the budgets. Between now and then, I'm more than happy to sit down with anybody and try to look for what's causing some of the variances. It's probably all explainable. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but.
You did a 4-month, but that was actually a 5-month. I didn't change my date. It was
Exactly.
It was bills and everything on that.
Right,
So
and that's what I said.
It's technically a 5-month.
When I sent it out, it was.
It's a lot over.
Picked a lot of stuff more than we needed, but when we get to January, at that point, I think we need to really kind of take a look and see how each of those is genuinely tracking to make sure that, the budget is the budget and that we land where we need to land. And I'll be happy to work on that. I'll look into each of them if you want, or I'll work with Kim or Jenny, whoever, but I'm just saying we don't want a surprise at the end of the year. So this report kind of gave me pause to say, well, okay, there's some things here that are tracking a little high, probably a reason, but let's look at it.
I'll invite you into the office, Mike, and we'll bring up the budget on the computer and we'll take it line item by line item.
I'd be happy to do it.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, we'll set something up.
Okay.
Anything else?
A motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
support.
Support, all in favor?
Aye.
Stand adjourned.